What's up? Welcome back to the booth for more Standard here from Pro Tour Ixalan. What a pleasure it is to bring it to you live, hot and fresh out the kitchen from Albuquerque, New Mexico. My name's Riley. This is Paul Cheon, and down in the feature match area, we got a Pascal Mirror match.
Ooh,
so we're going to get amongst that right here, right now. Let's head down to the feature match area, see how things shake out for round number 6 of Pro Tour Ixalan. Hello, my friends, and welcome to live coverage of Pro Tour Ixalan, continuing live and hot from Albuquerque, New Mexico. You're in the booth with Riley Knight, and I've got the great pleasure to be joined by my good friend and colleague, Paul Cheon. Paul, we're about to check in with Pascal Vieren and Pascal Maynard. You can see Pascal Vieren there on your screen. He's brought an interesting one to play. We've already seen a little bit of anointed procession action already, but he's on straight black-white here.
Yeah, he's on straight black-white. Anointed procession, but Pascal Maynard is on blue-white, and I believe it's straight blue-white.
Looks like it.
God Pharaoh's Gift.
God Pharaoh's Gift.
This is not a matchup I was expecting to see.
Not at all.
The PT, but this is really interesting. And Pascal actually deciding to play a slightly different take. He's playing 4 copies of Refurbish in his deck instead of Gate to the Afterlife to be a bit more explosive. And one thing that is nice about being able to play the Refurbish means you can actually play a few more spells in your deck because you don't actually need a ton of creatures in your deck to actually activate the Gate to the Afterlife.
Now, GPG has been very quiet recently. We see Minister of Inquiries come down on turn 1 for Maynard.
Is that Sacred Cat?
It is Sacred Cat in the bin. There we go, in addition to a Charter Course here. But what we're going to see now from Pascal Vieren is the absolute nuttiest start you can do. Here we go with the turn 1 Renegade map. Turn 2 is going to be Hidden Stockpile. And with that, an immediate Revolt trigger. You're making a 1-1 on turn 2. It is absolutely bonkers. It's a 2-card combo. It's going to overrun Standard completely, Paul Cheon here.
Turn 2, 1-1, game.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, this is. Okay, we're making light of the situation here, but in all honesty, if you aren't familiar with the Anointed Procession Hidden Stockpile deck, this is the dream start. Having an active Hidden Stockpile on turn 2, especially if you're curving into an Anointed Procession later on, Paul, it's very difficult for opponents to come back from that.
And if you take a look at Pascal's hand, it's got everything. It's got the cast out. It's got the Anointed Procession. So this is the ideal start for Pascal Vieren.
We have to say, Maynard is also hitting his straps very, very hard here indeed, because he's gone Minister of Inquiries into Champion of Wits. He's stocking that graveyard. He's getting it done, and he's in a good position now to to really enact his game plan.
Yeah, and so both decks are just kind of doing what you kind of expect them to do. So it'd be interesting to see what deck actually comes out on top.
This is fantastic
matchup.
This is what you want to see. You know, we don't want Mana Screw. We don't want people mulliganing 5. We want the best that we can bring, and both of these players are certainly doing that right now, Vieren and Maynard. You can see Vieren on Team Card Market here, of course. MKM out of Germany, this company, and they've obviously brought a team to bear here. And I can see quite a number of Germans on the team, including Berlin's own Anna Huschenbeth and Jasper Grimmer. These guys friends of mine out of Berlin, of course, but we've got some big names in there. Robin Dollar, the GP champion, Martin Hucek, and Leon van der Linden, the Dutchman, rounding out this team here.
And Pascal milled himself for 3 cards off you.
Pascal Maynard?
Pascal Maynard, right.
We're in a tricky spot here.
The Pascal Mirror.
Pascal Mirror.
Big mistakes. Anyways, Maynard milled one of those Refurbishes. He was really hoping to draw one of those, as he did bin one of the God Pharaoh's Gifts, but it looks like he's holding another one in hand. And, ooh, big turn. This is the ideal start for Vieren. He did go Hidden Stockpile into turn 4 Anointed Procession, but Maynard does have a cast out. So what does he want to use this cast out on?
I think it is on the Anointed Procession here, but Hidden Stockpile would also be a defensible target there. It is the engine card of the list here, but Maynard, member of Mass Drop West here, looking to take out that Anointed Procession. Mass Drop West, well, some big names on this team as well, a roster of some pretty big names here. Sean McLaren, of course, a Pro Tour champion, Rob Pisano, John Stern, Eric Severson and Ben Weitz. We've seen Severson already in the feature match area. This team is it's pretty stacked, I've got to say. 100 PTs played between all of them, and a combined win rate of 60% amongst all these guys.
Yeah, very, very strong team. And just kind of looking at how this matchup actually plays out, the white-black tokens deck is very good at grinding out your opponents. It's really hard to get kind of card advantage against them because they just have all these tokens that they can make. But it doesn't put on much of a clock, right?
No, that's the thing.
It takes a while.
It's death by 1,000 cuts for sure here. And, you know, this is a token deck that can flood the board with a squillion billion tokens and then cast a Fumigate and be happy about it.
Right.
It's not looking to end the game quickly. It just has this overpowering late game. Pascal Maynard, on the other hand, he's playing a deck that has a little bit more of a combo element to it. Refurbish, targeting a Godfarrow's Gift rather than Gates of the Afterlife. And he's looking to essentially put together a, you know, I mean, would you describe it as a combo deck?
Well, yeah, it's kind of like that, like a mid-range. Like the thing is, it doesn't really have a whole lot of control elements. It's just looking to play a bunch of creatures, chump block, trade until you can actually get Godfarrow's Gift online. But when I'm just kind of looking at this matchup, it does look to me like the Godfarrow's Gift deck looks favored because it's got that way to kind of go over the top in Godfarrow's Gift, which I think is generally more powerful than what you're kind of doing with the enchantments here, making a bunch of 1/1 tokens as opposed to, you know, reanimating an Angel of Invention every single turn, reanimating a Champion of Wits and just digging further through your deck. Now, if Pascal has access to, you know, has ways to kind of interact with the graveyard in some way, maybe that would be a thing. I guess he does have access to probably some copies of Cast Out to deal with Godfarrow's Gift. But, you know, both decks are kind of slow, not especially fast, and I think in those matchups, you kind of want to favor the Godfarrow's Gift deck.
So a confusing attack here for Vieren, and obviously this will raise some eyebrows, but we know exactly what's going on here, of course. It's hidden stockpile. We're going to see that that servo bounce right back here. Now, it's an interesting point you make, Paul, about the fact that, you know, the GPG deck can go much bigger in the late game in terms of putting pressure on, you know, attacking him with hasty, you know, 4/4, 6/6, flying, lifelink, hasting, double striking, vigilance, flanking, banding, whatever, right? But Pascal Vieren has an interesting card that can really sort of nullify that late game in Anointed Priest. If you've got Anointed Priest, a couple of copies of Anointed Procession, you can gain literal hundreds of life.
Right, and Pascal Maynard's list actually just doesn't have a whole lot of removal.
No.
So if it gets to the point where Pascal does have the priest in play with the procession, with the concealed courtier, which is a lot to ask. That is a lot of pieces that you actually need to have. But once you get that combo going, I mean, it's a very synergistic deck.
Yeah.
And you can pump out a bunch of tokens, then you can start gaining a ton of life.
So we did see the attack here. Obviously, not only hidden stockpile is going to replenish that servo token, but of course, Adanto, the first fort joins the fray here, and that's going to be another nice little token generator for Vieren. He does need to hit stuff like Anointed Procession. This is a deck white-black, not playing Vraska. Vraska usually the top end for these lists, Paul, but not appearing in Vieren's deck here.
Right, and that is a very big deal, especially in this matchup, because Vraska would give Pascal another answer, Vieren another answer to Godfarrow's Gift if it resolved.
So check this out. We can see that Vieren wants his Anointed Procession back, and he's going to get it with a cast out, targeting that cast out here.
That does leave him vulnerable to a Godfarrow's Gift if Pascal Maynard opts to play one next turn. And Sorcerer's Kenta works really, really nicely with Minister of Inquiries. You can flip that thing very, very quickly. You can actually flip it on turn 3.
So, Hidden Stockpile is going to generate 2 tokens here, and we see the value train begin to pull into the station here. As Vieren snags himself 2 little Serverinos there.
We'd prefer this, please.
You must use these tokens.
He is telling it as it is. He's wanting to use dice. Obviously, he's used to that approach. He says it's going to be a messy one. He says.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is going to be really rough now for Pascal Vieren. Pascal Maynard already has a Godfarrow's Gift in hand, but he also found a refurbish off as Kenta the Sunken Ruin, and he discarded a Godfarrow's Gift at some point earlier in the game. So he's going to have 2 Godfarrow's Gifts going with plenty of fuel in the graveyard.
Yeah, I think Pascal Maynard was born on the 25th of December because birthdays and Christmas. He's got so many gifts he doesn't know what to do. He's got more gifts than Dudley Dursley here, and this is going to be a huge problem for Pascal Vieren, who, due to the loss of that Anointed Procession early on, Paul, he hasn't been able to enact his game plan in the strongest fashion.
Right. The thing is, there's currently just not a whole lot of main deck answers to these powerful enchantments, but if somebody does happen to play random copies of Cast Out in the main deck, it really hinders your game plan.
So here we are seeing the classic GPG sort of play here as an Angel of Invention comes back. Now, this card's huge. Not only does it buff the entire team, it can also go wide, putting the servers into play, or it can just get in there as a 6/6 flying vigilance haste lifelink.
And what is he going to do here? It looks like we're going with the 6/6 here.
Yeah, and Vieren is kind of stone cold to this, honestly. There aren't any flyers in his list. He doesn't have good ways to deal with it outside of cards like Start to to finish. That's a way to remove it. A Fumigate's going to take care of it. We've got Cast Out as well. Fatal Push does not do the job.
Oh, yeah. He's got a couple of answers, but don't think Pascal's going to have too much difficulty putting more creatures into his graveyard to get additional triggers off this God Pharaoh's Gift.
So, hidden stockpile. Bit of a Skrysky here.
Pascal needs to really...
Take 6.
Yeah, Vieren really needs to dig for one of his removal effects here. The thing is, Fumigate wouldn't even be that good, because if he plays a Fumigate, Maynard can just return a Champion of Wits from the graveyard, draw 4 cards, discard 2, then fill up his graveyard with even more threats.
That's it. It's just going to Fumigate the graveyard here for Maynard. So Pascal Vieren with his back against the wall. I mean, I really like the tokens deck, but here, as you mentioned, I mean, this is what you said at the beginning of the game, Paul. Maynard is in a position to go over the top of a deck that traditionally has one of the strongest late games in Standard.
Right.
So Vieren here. Really intrigued to see the way that he's put his deck together. Traditionally, this deck is an Abzan deck. As I said, it plays of Vraska as the top end, but 2 copies, interestingly, of Approach of the Second Sun. This is a card that generated a little bit of discussion in the Abzan list. People were talking about it as a way to beat, first of all, the mirror, but other sort of, you know, gridlocked mirror lists that you might come up against while playing tokens. And I mean, I like it a lot. I don't know if it's appropriate here, but I think it's a good inclusion in the 75.
Yeah, I think that's when you start going really deep. When you think like everybody's going to play your deck, you start going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole, and you're like, how do I beat the mirror?
And before you know it,
2 approaches, let's go.
Before you know it, you're playing Revel in Riches and, and trying to double up on your treasure tokens.
Yeah, exactly.
So God Pharaoh's Gift is in full swing here for Pascal Maynard. He's got to be happy with that, especially with a backup copy of Refurbish in hand. Sacred Cat as well. Oh, the Katsuki's going to get up, and it's going to be claws out here.
Although it doesn't actually look like Pascal has that many creatures in his graveyard. I see a Sacred Cat, but outside of that, I see mostly spells.
No, I mean, I think you're right. There's not a huge number of creatures in his list. Of course, we saw Champion of Wits. We've already seen the Minister of Inquiries, Sacred Cat, Angel of Invention. That's about it. So 16 creatures in the list.
16 creatures.
16 creatures.
So a little bit light.
But oh, the double God Pharaoh's Gift here. Oh, for a Detention Sphere.
Oh, but he did have the Minister activation here, but he whiffed. So
the big whiskey.
He's only going to be able to get 1 creature back during this upkeep.
Look at this, more lands than a Medieval Baron here for Pascal Maynard as 3 of them enter the
Oh, I did not.
graveyard.
Never mind.
Oh,
just kidding. There was an angel hiding somewhere. I just didn't see it.
And the Champion of Wits.
Okay, well, my eyes are betraying me right now because Pascal now has
a Squillion power on board.
Yes. Squillion is the word I would use.
So we've got 2 7/7 flying lifelink hasters.
And look at how he stacked the God Pharaoh's Gift triggers. He put the Angel of Invention in play first, then put the Champion of Wits in play. Now he gets to look at 6 cards because there's 2 Angel of Inventions in play.
That is a great point. He's going to get to draw 6 and then discard 2. So that's stone cold. That's mastery here. And an attack
would
with
you say this is a Squillion damage?
It is a Squillion billion damage.
Oh, okay.
It is indeed. And Pascal Vieren is usually in a spot to soak up damage really well with the tokens.
Right.
But these huge 7/7 flyers are a real pain in the neck for him here.
Yeah. Pascal Vieren does have some Fumigates in hand.
Yeah.
And now that Maynard has actually gotten rid of both the Angel of Invention and Champion of Wits in his graveyard.
I mean, is he priced into casting them here?
I think he has to.
So both of those angels, they're not cards. They're actually not magic cards. They're actually tokens here. So they've
been eternalized.
Technically, they're in exile. That's right. That's right. And that means that, you know, a Fumigate isn't going to put them back in the yard. They're in exile. They're represented by those cards that are sort of poking out of the sleeves there.
Pascal Vieren is still in a lot of trouble, though, because there are still 3 creatures on the battlefield that will enter the graveyard, and Pascal Maynard can just continue to beat down with 4/4 hasty creatures.
Having said that, 2 copies of Anointed Procession on the side of Pascal Vieren means that when he fumigates, he can bring back. He'll first of all have 4 servo tokens, which are going to block those real nice, right?
Right.
Then he can eternalize the Anointed Priest. That's going to bring in 4 copies of Anointed Priest, all of which trigger each other. He's going to gain 16 life, and then each token after that gains another 4.
That's a lot of life that Pascal Maynard has to fight through. So he does actually need to find another Angel of Invention here.
We talked about the fact that Vieren needs to get all these pieces into play, and it is slow. It is glacial, Paul. But the fact is that once all of those pieces are in play, once we have anointed priests by the hundreds, once we've got the anointed processions, whatever, it's very, very difficult. And look at this. Maynard's already on 39 life. I'm willing to say Vieren's going to be on a higher life total than him before very much.
It's possible, but Pascal Maynard does have a cast out in hand.
Okay.
So he's likely going to use this on the anointed procession to not let things get too out of hand.
No, it's going to be cast out on the cast out. Next level plays.
Oh, okay. What was that? What was that underneath?
So there's a cast out underneath the cast out that's now being cast out.
It's like the Oblivion Ring thing all over again.
Yes, no, it is. I mean, LSV is just there being like, excuse me, hello, that was
so is this
my
game?
thing.
Is this, okay. All right. So he's cast outing a cast out, which is under a cast out.
Yep. He's cast a
Tongue
cast
twister.
out.
So now a cast out is
cast
going
out a
to
cast out.
be used on the stockpile.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty interesting decision. I think it's a pretty reasonable decision, to be honest, because that is the engine card.
So, and he doesn't get any tokens off of this now.
We've got an update from one of our back tables. Yasuoka has won game number 1 against his opponent there. So obviously fans of the Japanese superstar will be very, very happy to learn that he is up a game against Paul Dean there. But after that flurry of cast-outs has sort of all resolved itself now, we do have just the 2 anointed processions. I don't hate the choice that Maynard made there. It depends a lot on what Vieren can do next. I mean, don't forget, he still has it down to the first fort.
Right. Oh, so that allows him to make 4 1/1 life linking tokens.
Yep. Yep.
Wow. Oh, and he hit the Angel of Invention here off the. Did he sack an Ibnu Rivulet? I think that's what happened.
I think he did.
Yeah.
And it's triple. He's got the third. Oh no! Look at this. So is this
so
going to be
much
enough to
damage.
push through enough damage here?
Well, he gets to return 3 creatures.
3 creatures.
They're all going to have 4 power. I guess 2 of them will have 5
Yeah.
because of the Angel of Invention. So that's 14 damage. So it's not quite lethal.
But he's going to be able to discard some more cards here in order to get the ones that through. Look at
Angel
this, a
Invention's
sacred
still in
cat.
play.
There they go. And another one here with the Minister of Inquiry. So this is a big play here. It's not going to be quite enough to push through the final points of damage, though. So Vieren is going to have a bit of breathing room. I mean, he's that. You know, this would be very different if he'd had that hidden stockpile, because he would have some chump blockers.
Yeah, hitting that Angel was also huge.
Yeah.
So this looks like 9 damage.
Yep.
Going to Vieren, putting him down to 10.
Maynard up to 45. No worries here. And a cast out.
Oh, wow, that was
So we
big.
could. Oh no, we could cast out another cast out.
Although he might be a little bit too behind on board. He might just need to...
This is going to be an anointed priest. Yeah, look at this.
Okay.
So he's going to gain a bunch of life here. If he's got another way to generate some tokens as well, this is going to be huge. So gains 16 life here. Gains 16 life, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we're talking about this like it's a walk in the park. He's just gained 16 life for 4 mana.
So he gets 4 of these, right? Yeah, 4 anointed priest tokens have been made. That's what the dice. That's what the dice representing.
Yeah. So we're gonna get those tokens out. I mean, we are currently cracking boxes of tokens to make sure we've got enough that we
16
need.
life.
As Pascal Vieren said.
Oh, but that's another Angel of Invention. That's number 4. Pascal just drew it.
I just drew it.
He just drew it. Well, he really needs it, so.
I have to say, like, this is the sort of the nut draw for both of these decks.
Right.
Triple God Pharaoh's Gift, double Anointed Procession on the other side of things.
Yeah. Both decks just doing their thing.
Yeah, that's it. They really are. And Pascal Vieren has got ways to continue to add to the board, and also ways to continue to deduct from the board as well. Fumigate and start to finish.
Pascal Maynard actually has to be kind of careful. He is kind of burning through his win conditions.
Yeah.
If Pascal Maynard just uses all of his gigantic creatures and puts them on the board, Vieren can just cast a Fumigate, and Maynard might actually run out of good enough creatures to actually put the game away.
There are a couple of factors here that are also important to consider. Maynard, with only 16 creatures, I mean, you know, they do come back for an encore performance. So, you know, let's say 32. The other thing to consider here is he's burning through his library so quick. We've had Champion of Wits come down and draw at least, I mean, what?
He's drawn 6, then 5.
15 extra cards. Well, because it came down the first time as well. So maybe 13, 14 extra cards.
He's drawn a lot of cards.
So Angel of Invention, casting it the old-fashioned way here. It's going to be a 4-3.
And I think you just want to put all the counters because it doesn't look like you're going to be able to get through on the ground.
No, certainly not. And now
Ooh.
a sacred
Time for some. The biggest sacred catch you got is all 3.
All 3 sacred cats
all
are being
right.
eternalized
Here
with
we
the
go.
God Pharaoh's Gift. So Vieren, he's got some tricky decisions to make here. Of course, he can block with these Anointed Priests, but they are going to net him so much life if he's able to untap with them. If he plays start to finish, he's going to gain... I'll just get my phone. I'm going to give Frank a call because Frank Carson's going to be the person to answer here. A start to finish would put...
So he gains...
32 tokens into play, each of which gain 4 life. So he would gain 128 life if he cast start.
So maybe he should take most of this.
Did we see the quadruple block here? The quadruple chump?
I'm not sure. Maybe. Okay,
blocked
so it
them
looks like he
all.
blocked, which means his game plan is currently to just play the fumigate.
The fumigate.
probably.
Okay, sure. All right. Cycling the cast out as
Cycling.
well. Okay. No regard for that. He's happy to get rid of that one. He's got another one in hand.
Okay. Yeah, I think that block just kind of commits you to playing this fumigate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it clears the board nicely. It does put another angel in the bin here for Maynard, but it also gains him a ton of life. I mean, it actually gains enough life to negate 1 angel attack.
Right.
I mean, he's got to do it, right? He's priced in.
Yeah. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. Unless he has another Anointer Priest maybe in his graveyard, but then it's even less reason for him to actually block earlier.
Oh! Scavenger Grounds. Wow!
One of the upsides for playing a straight 2-color deck is the fact that you get to actually play the card Scavenger Grounds in your deck.
And he ships.
Okay.
He's only on 17.
Right, he's on 17. I imagine he has a removal spell. He's probably done the math.
He's
here,
got
right?
he's got to cast out. He's got to...
Oh no, he's got the Legion's Danto. So he can make
Okay.
4/1/1
He can
life
make
linkers.
4/1/1s
So the
block.
flyers are not actually lethal.
No.
So Pascal's actually trying to set up a situation where after he plays the Fumigate next turn,
Yeah.
there's not going to be a lot of cards to get back. And Maynard's gone through a ton of his deck already.
Yeah, this is the point that we made already. I mean, the fact that, now his graveyard is exiled as well. He has got a lot to lose. I mean, he's sitting on 52
This is such
life.
a headache.
But 52 life is nothing once the tokens deck gets up and about. Anointed Procession means that that Vieren has overwhelmingly powerful late game, and I mean he can just sit there and wait for Maynard to deck himself as
Yeah,
well.
that is definitely a possibility here. The Charter Course, all right, more ways to deck yourself.
He's counting his life. How many?
That
cards
wasn't a
there?
lot of
That
cards.
wasn't a lot. So an update from one of our back tables. Kevin Jones and Gabriel Nassif are tied up at 1-1. This is game 1 of this one.
This is
We're already
game 1.
going to game 3 with the old yellow hat in the back.
Lots
on the
of
back
numbers
tables.
to be run here.
Oh, jeez.
And Pascal Maynard's already cast the 2 copies of Cast that he has in his main deck. So can't find another one to get rid of one of those processions.
Strategic planning here, taking a strategic planning.
Yeah, what is he looking for?
He's obviously got some kind of strategic plan to go with here. He's digging for something. What is it?
I don't think he has actually anything left in his deck.
Going to chart a course.
That would help him.
No, we're going to plan again. 1, 2, 3.
He's gone through most of his cast outs. He's gone through all 4 of his Angel of Inventions. And there's nothing else in his deck that actually allows him to interact.
2 cards left in the library of Pascal Maynard. What has he got that's going to be able to let him push through 17 damage, 21 damage here? It's the 4th God Pharaoh's
And
gift
that doesn't
here.
even do anything.
3 creatures coming back. Is it a May ability on Champion of Wits? I certainly hope so.
Is it lethal or does Pascal Vieren survive here?
Okay. So start to finish.
Okay,
make
so he
8.
had lethal if it was only 4/1/1 life
Yeah,
linkers,
yeah.
but instead he's making 8 1/1s, and then he can play the Fumigate next turn to clear the board.
So 8 1/1 Vigilance
These
Warriors
multipliers,
here.
though. What is going on?
And an attack with everything here. So Maynard is just jamming. He's going to let Vieren figure it out.
Oh no, I got 2 cards left. Please don't have a Fumigate. That's probably what he's thinking.
So the players
He's
are
just
all
like,
well and
I
truly
block
on top of the maths
everything.
here.
You're at 100. I don't care. I'm going to untap and play Fumigate.
And he ships
Oh, he's just, yeah, Maynard's just saying, please, just don't Fumigate me, man. Just,
Vieren.
please, just come. Oh, no,
Fumigate.
why?
He had the Fumigate all along.
Everything's being scooped up, right?
That is it. Pascal Maynard without a way to
Oh,
get through
no.
that. And wow,
Wow.
what a marathon finish. Paul Cheon to the Pascal Vieren, Pascal Maynard mirror match here. White-black tokens goes up against white-blue GPG and takes it out. In game number 1, I'll remind you, Paul.
I wonder if Pascal's now thinking to himself, maybe he should have gotten that second copy of the Anointed Procession.
I'll tell you what, We're going to go to a break. We're going to catch our breath, ladies and gentlemen. We'll give you a chance to do the same. But stick around, everybody, because on the other side of this, of course, we're going to go to game number 2, see how things shake out. As round number 6 of Pro Tour Ixalan continues, we'll see you back here in Albuquerque in just a few moments.
Head down to your local store and buy a box of Ixalan to receive a dino-sized booster. Each booster is filled with 4 rares or mythic rares, 4 premium foils, and an alternate art premium foil rare. Limit 1 per customer. Visit Ixalan.com to find a store.
Somebody made a pitch for Vampire Conquistadors, and that was the very bare bones nugget of Ixalan coming into being. If all you're doing is playing the card game, you're seeing that world through a bunch of tiny little windows. The art book is a view into who these characters are, what they're doing here, how these cultures fit together.
I mean, I'm super proud of this world. James and I both worked on it really closely, so I think it's going to be amazing, and I think once it finally hits, the fans are going to be blown away.
And welcome back to live coverage of Pro Tour Ixalan out of New Mexico. Albuquerque is where we're at. My name's Riley Knight, and it's my great pleasure to introduce once again to you all around the world. It's Mr. Paul Cheon beside me. And Paul, we're going to check in on the back tables. You can see Gabriel Nassif there on your screen playing against Kevin Jones. Now, they've split the first 2 games. Nassif is on as well. GPG. Godfarer's gift. Santa has opened up the sack, and the gifts are being spread around everywhere throughout the feature match area so far. Nassif is 3-1-1 heading into this game here. And Kevin Jones on Teamer Energy, the flavor of the month.
Don't think Nassif was especially happy with his deck choice. I think he might be 0-1-1. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I know he picked up a draw in the constructed portion. But, you know, this is definitely the style of... I would be surprised if Gabe Nassif is playing a deck that does not have islands in it. I was actually going to expect him to play something more controlling, as he has been known to stream some kind of various blue control decks, but looks like he didn't think it was quite good enough.
Well, while things play out here, we are going to go back to our first table because, as you can see, those players did a very quick job shuffling mulligan and getting into game number 2. We don't want to miss a moment of this one because I tell you what, it was just all action non-stop in game number 1. So let's head back to Pascal Vieren and Pascal Maynard while things continue with Nassif and Kevin Jones. May have time to check in with them a bit later on, depending on how things pan out on table number 1. So... Pascal Maynard, of course, going down in the first game for between these 2 players here, Paul. But how are things changing much after sideboard? We can already see negates being brought in and duress on the side of Pascal Vieren.
Yeah, I see a couple of key cards here. Pascal Maynard has access to Negate, which is a fantastic card against the 0-creature all-spell deck. And he also has access to 3 copies of Angel of Sanctions, which is a pretty powerful card as well. It's not great against a card like Fumigate, for example, but it does give Pascal Maynard additional outs to cards like the Hidden Stockpile and the Anointed Procession.
Vieren is just off to an absolute fly here once again. Hidden Stockpile with an Evolving Wilds ready to go. Legion's Landing already up and about. I mean, this looks innocuous, but we saw the power of this deck. We saw that it is a little slow to get set up, Paul, but once those wheels start turning, I mean, this is just a train that can't be stopped.
Yeah, once that Anointed Procession gets online, that's when things get really out of hand. As we saw in the last game, he gained 16 life out of nowhere.
Yeah, just like that. And that was only the start. If those Anointed Priests had stuck around, obviously we would have seen some crazy business going on. Attack for 2 here as Vieren makes hay while the sun shines. And it's Anointed Procession.
Wow, this is
the
the
dream
perfect start.
This is the perfect start.
Oh, okay, so that was a very clutch cast out drawn by Pascal Maynard, and I imagine he's probably going to look to fire that off.
Now, the question is, what do you target here? We saw him, I don't want to say punished. I don't think it was a mistake for him to target the Hidden Stockpile last time because that is the engine card. But the payoff card of Anointed Procession means that it's a difficult decision for Maynard to make. What are you favoring here, Paul?
I think I usually go for the Procession because that card in multiples is just absolutely punishing. And there are often other ways to kind of get advantages with Anointed Procession on the board.
Okay.
So I think that's normally the card that I would look to go for. I understand Maynard's play in the last game because he wanted to be really aggressive and keep the board clear because it did prevent Pascal Vieren from making a bunch of tokens at the end of that turn. But in this specific situation, I'd probably look to get rid of that Anointed Procession.
Now, Maynard has had a good think about it because he stopped Vieren in his main phase, and that does mean that the stockpile is going to be targeted. I think the jury is still out on where we're headed, like what the correct way to play this out is here. Maynard has opted both times for the Hidden Stockpile. We've mentioned it's the engine card. It is what keeps things ticking over. And you've got to remember, Paul, as well, Anointed Procession does stone cold nothing without engine cards, without cards that enable it, like Hidden Stockpile.
Yeah, you need the Hidden Stockpile. There are also cards like the Legion's Landing. There's also Start to Finish, and there is the Anointed Priest. But
now, Vieren is holding none of these. This is actually going to work out pretty well for Maynard because Vieren has no way to start generating tokens.
Right, but Vieren does have a cast out in hand. So I think he wants to play a Duress here to clear the way. If there are any copies of Negate in hand, he wants to get rid of those.
So
looks like
gets the bin.
Just all 5 and 7 drops out of Pascal's hand.
Easy game.
Look at that mono 5 drops.
Yep.
He's like, please don't draw planes.
Yep. And now we see...
And Pascal Vieren just with the ideal start here. Turn 2 stockpile, turn 4 procession. Even through a removal spell, he gets it back.
Yeah, and he's drawn another stockpile to keep
Maynard needs a white source, and he found it.
And he finds it. Yeah, okay, so this is big game now because that means Hidden Stockpile number 2 is going to be removed. The difference here, Paul, cast out doesn't attack for any damage. Angel of Sanctions, however, it puts a real quick lock on you.
Right, but Pascal Vieren did choose to keep a card on top, and I think he actually has another cast out.
Look at this. We've got things jumping in and out of the exile zone like there's no tomorrow here as now a Hidden Stockpile comes down. We're going to see a sacrifice of one of these servos, and those wheels, they keep it turning.
2 more tokens on the battlefield, and this also now threatens a flipped Legion's Landing as well.
And the only angels that Maynard can bring to bear now are the Angels of Invention. No more sanctions to be handed out just yet.
I think Pascal Maynard might look to make servos here to profitably block all the tokens. If he just makes a giant angel, but then Vieren is more likely to just attack with everything. I think he's probably going to attack with everything anyways, but I think you just want to keep the board clear so that Pascal Vieren can't go wide. And yeah, he did decide to make a bunch of Thopters.
Little servos coming down as 2/2s, of course. The Angel of Invention giving... It's got a lot of text on it, Paul. It's got a lot of text on it. Fabricate, anthems. It's got all the keywords under the sun here.
Does a lot.
Certainly does. And I mean, we've seen now Maynard use both halves of the card, right? We've seen him bring it back with the GPG, which is exactly what you want to do. And now we've seen him gum up the board a little bit and make it so Vieren can't do exactly what he wants to do.
Pascal Vieren does have a Fatal Push in hand. I think he's considering whether or not he wants to clear one of those servos out of the way, but I don't think he cares too much.
I think you got to jam with all 3. It flips the Legion's Landing. It enables, Adante the First Fort to start spewing out little vampires, and you know, I think this is a good line for Vieren to take here.
Yeah, so now he can just sack one of the creatures being blocked to get the scry out of the hidden stockpile.
Two more
So he's going to
servos.
make 2 more tokens end of turn, and he does have a flipped Legion's Landing, which allows him to make even more tokens here.
So fans of yellow-coloured headwear around the world will be rejoicing as they hear that Gabriel Nassif, the French superstar, did manage to get up in game number 3. We checked in very early on with their game, and Nassif did manage to get up 2 games to 1. But now it's all about Pascal on Pascal here.
Okay, so he's going for Godpharaoh's Gift here, but Pascal Vieren does have access to a Shafet Dunes in play.
So that's going to exile the graveyards very quickly there. The scavenger ground means that Shafet Dunes will hit the bin. It's the other desert sacrifice too, its ability to clear out those graveyards. So the GPG isn't doing too much here. Christmas is cancelled.
Yeah, but
Called up Jim Carrey.
Pascal Vieren is netting 3 tokens every single turn right now.
Yeah, thanks to that Adanto and the sacrifice of one of the servos every turn. That's a net gain of 3 1/1s, as you said. And I tell you what, it reminds it's just this
Time to gain some life.
lumbering beast. But Anointed Priest is going to put his life total even out of further reach here for Maynard, who's on 12. And further attacks here for Vieren.
Right, so Maynard probably is just going to go with the same double block here on the lifelink tokens, most likely. Take 3 points of damage. He really doesn't want to get that Anointed Priest off the board, but I think Pascal might even be tempted to sacrifice that at some point later if he has the opportunity to start just gaining a ton of life. But his life total is pretty safe right now, so I think he's just going to do the same thing that we saw in the previous turn where he spends a mana to sack a creature maybe.
Well,
oh, no, he decided not to do it.
no, okay.
Okay.
What we may see here... No, okay. It's just going to be the servo.
Okay, so he's just making sure he leaves up a ton of mana here.
Yeah, he's got Scavenger Ground ready to go as well.
It's like, I don't need to scry. I got everything I need right now.
And everything.
I'm good.
At the top of my library, it's fine. I'll just draw off the out of the basic land station for the rest of the game. I'm fine. Angel Invention number 2 now for Pascal Maynard. It's going to make a couple of servos again, little 2/2skis. And we're going to exile that Singleton Angel Invention in the bin. Oh, tight. Look at this. Ipni Rivulet in response to the trigger.
And he found another Angel Invention.
Better lucky than good. Pascal
Wow.
Maynard brings in another Angel Invention. That's number 3 here. And that's going to clock him real quick.
So for people wondering what just happened
Yeah,
right
can we
there,
break that down?
Godpharaoh's Gift triggers on your beginning combat step, but you don't actually need to target a creature. So at the beginning of Pascal Maynard's combat step, the Godpharaoh's Gift ability went on the stack. Pascal Vieren was like, well, I'm going to remove your Angel of Invention. And then once that resolved, Maynard then opted to use his Ipnu Rivulet to mill himself for 4 cards and hit that Angel of Invention to use the Godpharaoh's Gift again.
All while that trigger was on the stack.
That was pretty nice.
Yeah, that was really tight there from Maynard, and it was a good hit for him as well. Angel Invention off the top. He's done very well to do that there, and we see Vieren, I think, sacrificing an Evolving Wilds for the Swamp here.
So now Pascal's like, well, I thought I was safe earlier, but maybe now it's about time for me to gain 1 billion life.
Now, check this out. We're going to see 2 copies of Anointed Priest come back. They're going to see each other, and that means they gain 4 life because they see each other. We're now going to see 2 servos come in.
That's 4 more life.
And that's 4 more life thanks to the Anointed Procession and the Anointed Priests here. So all sorts of anointing going on. And it's GPG number 2. Paul, we've got this game happening again. We've got both
Everybody's
players
just doing their thing.
exactly what they want.
All. Although Pascal currently doesn't have any creatures in his graveyard, so he's just using it for mana efficiency's sake, but not a lot to do with it right now.
He needs cards like Champion of Wits. He needs to start charting courses.
Or another
he needs
Ipnu
strategic
Rivulet.
planning. He needs an Ipnu Rivulet. That's exactly right. Vieren is going to turn the corner on this game. Slowly but surely, his life total will creep up. His board total will creep up. He described it himself. He said, it's going to be a mess. And I tell you what, for Pascal Maynard, if he doesn't do anything about it, it's certainly going to be Treasure Map.
Treasure Map.
Now, Treasure Map, when it flips, will generate 6 treasure tokens, which will draw him 6 extra cards across 6 turns. Pascal Vieren is very ready to go long here.
All right, Pascal Maynard needs to end the game here, but I don't think he's doing enough damage here. He's getting in for, let's see, that's 6, 79, 10 damage. And Pascal Vieren's able to gain, what is it, 8 life a turn as he can make 2 tokens off the Adanto as well.
And he's just churning
Oh,
through
he's
his
just
library.
he's digging, right?
Yeah, he's digging and digging.
here.
He's looking for another Anointed Procession. He might be looking for even just another Anointed Priest, which is going to help to buffer his life
Anointed
total.
Priest, Cast Out. There are a lot of great cards.
Yeah, and he's obviously found one that he likes as we see him draw. Pascal Maynard on 34 with a huge board and also Ixalan's binding. All right. That's going to take out the Angel there.
And if you notice, he went for the smaller one, but the one that wasn't eternalized from the God Pharaoh's gift. So.
That means that it's not going to hit the bin. It's not going to come back one more gain here.
Right. If Pascal Vieren's looking for something like a Fumigate, for example.
Gain 4. Gain 4.
This is just the beginning. Scry.
This is just the beginning. That treasure map, I mean, Pascal Vieren, he is sailing closer and closer to that island.
Okay, there's a chart, of course. Did he find another Angel of Invention?
Did he find a creature to discard? I think that's a Minister of Inquiries in that little land sandwich there. Yep.
All right.
Discards.
Oh, no, that's a Champion of Wits.
Oh, excuse me, a Champion of Wits. That's big.
Oh, and he's choosing to just pay the full cost to try to get more creatures into his graveyard. As he does get to look at 5 cards and discard 2. Did he find any creatures?
I can see a strategic planning and a bunch of lands here. Looks like Pascal Maynard.
Did he fail to find a creature?
It's not treating him very well, Paul. So, an update from one of our back tables here. Yam Wing Chun has managed to snag himself the win against Pro Tour champion Ivan Flock. Yam Wing Chun is going gangbusters here at Pro Tour Ixalan. This guy is just not ready. He's not going to lose.
Pro Tour semifinalist, now going, maybe setting himself up to go even further this time around.
Yeah, you would hope so. Treasure map is going to flip.
Oh, it's going to flip. Is it time? Is it time for some treasure?
It's going to mean 6 tokens.
6 treasures.
Not quite 9. Not quite 9, Pascal. It is 6. Yeah. So this is huge here for Vieren because it means he's got a personal howling mind.
Yeah. This is completely ridiculous.
It's insane. It's insane. And Uggle's Bloodfast if in case he needs more cards, Paul.
I've got all of the cards. Well, like you said, this deck is capable of just gaining tons and tons of life.
Oh, yeah. No,
so
2
once
life
you
is
get
nothing.
your life gain engine set up, Argo's Bloodfest is also a way to draw a ton
You're
of cards.
basically gaining life when you pay life.
Because you're finding creatures that help you gain more life.
Because gain you so much life. And look at this. Are we going to see the treasure?
Oh, he's actually using the treasure. Oh, no.
He should have 6. He's got 6. He may have paid a bit extra here for some of them.
We're just setting up the tokens to look nice.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, we're going to have to call the builders, get a bit of an extension going on here.
Time to gain some life.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, gain 4. Oh, dear. That's a tough old life down there in the feature match area at Pro Tour Ixalan.
Oh, wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, live out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, Riley and Paul with you in the booth here, overseeing this Pascal mirror match. What a wild ride it's been. Hope you've enjoyed our ongoing coverage of the Pro Tour. It's certainly been a pleasure to bring it to you so far, and we're looking forward to your company throughout the weekend as all the action continues. Pascal Maynard with some strategic planning. Paul, he's looking to buff up his graveyard here.
Yes, there's some more digging going on here. What does he want? He just needs... I think the only relevant card that Pascal Maynard has in his deck are those Angels. He's got the Angel of Inventions, and he does have those Angel of Sanctions out of the board. He really needs to find that Angel of Sanctions to kind of deal with all of the shenanigans, I'm just going to say.
We said this going in. We said that Vieren is not going to have any issue coming up the board, right? So when you've got, doofuses like the Minister of Inquiries, when you've got, these idiots like the Champion of Wits coming back, just chuck a 1/1 in front of them.
Right.
No worries, right? But if you can go to the air, if you can use cards like Angel of Invention, get in for a bunch of damage, Angel of Sanctions, critically, exiling cards that are problematic, this is where Maynard is going to win. He's on 45. He's got the time he needs to find it.
So Cast Out helps.
Cast out. All right.
I don't think he needs God Pharaoh's Gift number 3.
He's not that greedy of a boy. He's already dug to the bottom of his stocking and he's found it empty. Having a think about what he's going to discard here. Interesting that...
What a mess.
Interesting that Pascal Maynard is playing Charter Course in a deck where he always wants to play it first main phase, essentially.
He doesn't actually want to draw 2 cards.
He doesn't want the 2-mana divination. Yeah.
It's just a slightly better Tormenting Voice.
Yeah. No, I think he would actually prefer Tormenting Voice, right?
It's hard to say. I think drawing 2 is probably better, but...
I mean, it gives him the option, I suppose. Yeah, maybe I'm going a little bit. I'm getting a bit carried away here, Paul. Jeez, I've got to contain myself here.
But I guess I'm going to have to eat my words here. I was just thinking that the blue-white deck's late game is a little bit more robust, but I kind of underestimated the life-gaining abilities.
Yeah. No, I
this
think
wipe like tokens deck.
I think the critical card that has really sort of flown under the radar here, not only Hidden Stockpile, which of course does so much work in this setting here, but also Anointer Priest. And you know, Vieren's only drawn one copy of it. If he draws a second, all of a sudden we're going even more bonkers. It's 8 life per Hidden Stockpile activation.
Yeah. And he even has the ability to sacrifice it and then
All right.
embalm it.
Let's check this out, however, Paul. Stick this in your pipe and smoke it, says Pascal Maynard. He's hit not only an Angel of Invention, an Angel of Sanctions in the bin as well.
Wow! What a turnaround.
Pascal.
What is this? Oh, and he targets
another-
Ixalan's binding.
This is just
Oh, my
mental.
goodness.
He's attacking for 16 in the
Look at
is it
Pascal
16?
Vieren. He's like, what just happened? I was so far ahead.
It's a huge attack in the air. What can Pascal Vieren do about this?
Is this
all
lethal?
of a sudden,
Oh, my
he's
goodness.
done it. Pascal Maynard has stitched together a win out of nowhere, attacking with 2 hasty lifelink vigilance flyers here. Paul Cheon. Unbelievable. 6.5 minutes remaining for these players to find a match result, but Pascal Maynard, we thought it was all over Red Rover.
Yeah.
He's dead in the water.
Well, he put the Champion of Wits into play, hit the Angel, and also he cast the cast out on the Ixalan's binding to get the other Angel back. What a turnaround.
Unbelievable stuff here. Pascal Maynard managed to get there, and this just goes to show it's not over until it's over, and we saw a fantastic series of sequence of play there. I'm going to have to go back and watch this again. I absolutely am going to have to, because I think we're sitting here sort of crowing about how Vieren's late game is just unbeatable, but what I really like about the way that Maynard played that is that he never thought, well, there's no way out.
Right.
He continued to dig and dig and dig because he could obviously, he knew there was a sequence or a series of cards that was going to get him to the W, and he found it.
Right. Yeah, Pascal did have a lot of ways to dig through his deck.
Mm-hmm.
So, I thought he was actually going to get there a little bit sooner, finding the different copies of the Angel of Sanctions and the Angel of Inventions.
Yeah.
And it just took him to the last turn to actually get there. But when he did, oh boy.
Yeah.
2 Angel of Inventions cast on the exact same turn.
Yeah, it was exactly what he needed at the time that he needed it, and Vieren, he had to respect it and scoop up
Now
his
they
cards.
have 6 minutes to finish a game.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that one.
This is going to be a tough one here for these two because, of course, both of these players are looking to go to late, especially the tokens deck. This isn't a deck that is particularly proficient at ending games quickly. I mean, we've seen some pretty nutty starts here from Pascal Vieren there.
Yeah.
But right now, while these players are shuffling up, we're going to head over to our final other match that's remaining there. You can see the Japanese superstar Shota Yasuoka and Paul Dean on the other side of the table. These guys have split games number 1 and 2. Shota Yasuoka, a bit of a twist in the tail here, Paul. He's not playing a control deck.
Yeah, he did play Grixis Control at the World Championships, but even Shota Yasuoka giving in to the energy overlords here.
Oh, yeah.
And deciding to play 4-color energy against what looks to be Sultai energy.
Well,
here.
all the cool kids are doing it. He wanted to sit he wanted to sit in the cafeteria with all the cool kids, so he's sleeved up his long tusk cubs and he's getting it done here.
He's got a lot of
Dean.
sleeves in play. He's got 3 glint sleeve siphoners all on the board here.
Now, this is an interesting take on this archetype that we've seen. This is still an energy-based list, but it is, Winding Constrictor means that Sultai energy, Sultai Constrictor, whatever you want to call it, mean that, it can be much more explosive. Glint Sleeve Siphoner draws you a bunch of extra cards, and this provides a different angle of attack.
Yeah, absolutely. The Winding Constrictor also just synergizes very nicely with anything that produces energy, as it does give you an additional energy.
Well, we're going to head back to table number 1 now because we're not wanting to miss a minute of the action between Vieren and Maynard here. Pascal on Pascal here. And on table number 1, they've already got underway. I can see a Fatal Push has already entered the... a Duress has entered the fray here. Fatal Push against a Minister of Inquiries.
No Renegade map this time.
No, not
no, but an Evolved. Of course.
Easy game.
What, would you expect anything else, though?
No, easy game. And, I mean, I have to say that Vieren has enjoyed some pretty consistent starts. This isn't always the position that the deck is in.
If your deck draws like this all the time, I would slam it every single time.
Yeah, and we've seen the power that it can leverage. I mean, we've also seen the power of Pascal Maynard's deck. GPG is poised for a comeback. I mean, it lost a lot to rotation, right? Insolent Neonate, a bunch of other cards that filled up the graveyard nice and quick. But players have come with new innovations.
Is Pascal Maynard actually considering discarding a cast out here? Okay. I was just like, that seems like one of the most important cards in the matchup.
Strategic planning hits the bin. Double cast out in the hands
Although
of Maynard.
time is also of the essence, so maybe he just wants the strategic planning to just try to end the game as quickly as possible. Wow.
Pascal Vieren. I take my hat off to you, mate. How is he doing it?
Decent start.
It's unbelievable. Every time he's just, yeah, got it. I got
He
it.
does know about those multiple cast outs.
He does. But, I mean, he's got a jam, right?
Yeah.
He's got a jam. He's going to get a couple of servos here, you would imagine. Oh, an Evolving Wilds in hand means that we are going to see a revolt trigger. Yep, easy game.
He also draws that the Shafet Dunes. It's on the battlefield, so no refurbish shenanigans.
Scavenger Grounds there is a way for Pascal Maynard's graveyard to be exiled there. Shafet Dunes also enabling that. It's a nice way that these deserts sort of synergize very well with each other.
Right, allows you to go wide.
Yeah.
With all those tokens.
Absolutely. If Near Deadlands is in there as well to pick off little X2s wherever they are.
I wonder how he came with
And
those
once
numbers.
again, Paul Cheon, we are seeing cast out on a hidden stockpile instead of the Anointed Procession.
Yeah, I'm just not familiar enough with this matchup. This is
Yeah, I wonder if Maynard has tested this extensively
it's
or
very
is just going
possible.
with his gut.
yeah.
It's a hard decision to make. He's made it very consistently. He obviously has a clear idea of how he wants to handle it. 2 mana now.
Uh-oh, is this another hidden stockpile? Oh,
Arguel's
no.
Bloodfast. All right.
Not as great in this board because Pascal is actually getting in there for some amount of damage. Oh, and another cast
Second
out.
cast out here, of course.
And
means
the
that-
Angel.
Yeah. All
Wow.
right. Well, I think Maynard's in a much better position now. He's playing at lightning speed as well. A little block ski here for Vieren, who's looking to preserve that life total, but he's going to have to pull out something pretty special.
All right,
He draw
Vieren's
2 cards.
Oh, yeah, he's looking for a fumigate
Oh,
here.
yeah,
He
but-
found a fumigate. He found a fumigate.
He's got double fumigate.
He's got double fumigate.
Double
Okay.
fumigate, mate. It's great. He can't wait. Yep, and Maynard,
And he
look
gets
at
to gain
this.
some life. He can actually draw more cards off the Bloodfast. And Pascal,
Bring back the Angel of Sanctions there.
oh, look at this.
Yep.
Hyperspeed.
Yeah, they're playing really quickly. Both of them want a result. They don't want to be stuck in the draw bracket just yet. Vieren,
Duress.
Duresu,
Oh, okay.
and the
And the
GPG.
fumigate.
Timely.
Oh, man.
Another fumigate here.
But Pascal Maynard's out of resources now. Oh, no, he found the land for the Champion of Wits.
Paul Dean has managed to get up against the Japanese superstar Shota Yasuoka 2-1 in just with seconds to go before time is called. I imagine these guys have a little bit of extra time on the clock thanks to the chopping and changing we've done with some of the feature matches zipping around all over the place. But that doesn't matter with the speed that these guys are playing at. Maynard, getcha with the champion, he says.
All right. They have a 1-minute extension.
1 minute extension. Are we going to find a result here? Both of these players playing at lightning pace.
I imagine
I mean,
Pascal's
win, lose,
problem-
or draw.
Yeah.
This game has been incredible.
Right.
Paul.
And I imagine Pascal Vieren's going to go for the Fumigate here. 1 mana. What is this? This is a Fatal Push.
It's a fatal push. Fatal push on the Champion of Wits, which of
Okay.
course is able to be targeted by that.
So now he
despite
can
the
buy himself
signs.
more time and actually sandbag the Fumigate for a little bit longer if he wants.
Well, it's going to be difficult. Maynard
Is it-
may
is
be
it
able to
time
win in
to-
extra turns.
Oh,
Double treasure.
more treasures.
Maynard is just wanting to get as many turns.
Does he want to
past
mill
as
himself
possible.
to hit a Champion of Wits here? There is an active Scavenger Grounds on the battlefield, so maybe he just wants to attack. But I think given more time, Pascal does seem to be kind of ahead here.
So time is called. Time has been called on the Pascal mirror match here.
Oh.
You would have to say that Maynard really is the only one with a sniff of being able to win it here. The white-black tokens deck is slow. It is lumbering. It is not going to do 20 damage in 3 turns. And this means that Maynard is the only one you would say who is going to be able to stitch together a W here. So Vieren has to do everything he can do to prevent that from happening. Hostile Desert has come
Hostile
across.
Desert. Look at that. That's in his sideboard, too.
Yeah, he's brought it in here.
Does he have a... No, he doesn't have a Fatal Push because he would have used it there.
So Vieren leaves it on
Oh,
top.
he kept it on top.
All right, all right, all right. With 5 life to play with.
I don't think Pascal Vieren can possibly win from this scenario, so he's probably going to look to find a way to just survive. Ooh, that did allow him to flip his Arguel's Bloodfast.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and he can gain life by sacrificing his Christian
Right,
Creatures
he can
here.
block and sacrifice.
All right. Well, it doesn't do much with his vampire token because, of course, he'd just be gaining one anyway thanks to the block ski
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So Maynard on turn number 2.
The sideboard Hostile Desert doing some work here.
Yeah, is it going to be enough here? If
Oh,
Vieren can
wow.
find something like an
He
Anointed
found
Priest.
a Refurbish and another Charter Course. This is great.
Oh, right.
This does force Vieren to use the Scavenger Grounds.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to have to do it here. Maynard, he is, I mean, look, you could see the whistles and bells and the cogs all turning on in his head because, I mean, the information's known. It's not as if he's playing, you know, a Relic of Progenitus out of his hand that's going to do it without him seeing it here. It's not like a Crook of Condemnation or something like that, a Sentinel Totem. The information's known. It's so close. Can Maynard pull together what he needs here to beat Pascal Vieren?
So let's see, what could he possibly be thinking about here? Because I would have normally just thought about discarding the land here.
Looks like it's going to be that.
Okay.
The Mass Drop West member here is in a position now to try to pull together a victory. Pascal Vieren from Team Card Market here, of course.
Time to force the activation of the Scavenger Grounds here.
Yep, we're going to see that happen right here, right now.
And that is the only desert on the battlefield on Pascal Vieren's side.
Yes.
So he will have to sack the actual Scavenger Grounds.
And he does indeed exactly
No
that.
graveyard, counters the refurbish.
So Pascal Maynard's graveyard looking very lonely here after being pretty stacked before.
He should have made a 3-4 in response, but didn't. Let the trigger resolve. So now he doesn't even get an attack. Now he's trying to hit a land off this mill, which he did. Oh, okay. That was almost very costly.
But a block there is going to buffer Vieren's life total up to 6 now.
So Vieren could have been at 1 less life here.
But Maynard has 1 turn.
He has 1 turn.
Maynard has 1 turn. Vieren just has to hold on here. Go for the draw. Three treasure tokens coming down. He's going to scry again here.
This deck is really good at dirtling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, mate. Oh, you have no idea. I mean, you do. You've just watched it at its absolute best. You know exactly
I think I
what
have
it's
some
capable
idea.
of.
We've watched this for about 60 minutes.
It's been fantastic. Draws. Third last turn of the game here for Pascal Vieren. We've got 1 more from Maynard. And Vieren's going to wrap it up. And an Anointed Priest, and that should wrap it up.
Yeah, that's just another blocker.
Well, it also gains him 3 life thanks to the flipped Bloodfast.
Oh, right.
And an Ixalan's Binding on a cast out. We've seen this before.
Oh, and there's a stockpile.
And
Yeah, so I think
stockpile.
if this game goes a little bit longer, Pascal Vieren is favored here.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I think that's a fair estimation here.
Going up to 7 here. All right.
Gain some life. Back to Maynard. Can he do 7
Is this the
damage?
last turn?
Through 2 blockers here. It's the final turn for Pascal Maynard here. Going out with a whimper rather than a bang, we saw Vieren utter dominance in game number 1. We saw Pascal Maynard stitch together the most incredible of victories in game number 2. And right now, unfortunately, it looks like we're just going to go to time and it's going to fizzle out into a rather tame draw in the Pascal mirror match. A handshake is going to seal the deal, but what an amazing round, Paul Cheon. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch these decks, and our only regret really is that we don't have more time to see how things would have gone. But that's all she wrote for this round, sports fans. That is the way that it's going to pan out for round number 6 of Pro Tour Ixalan. As we bring it back to the booth, a very warm welcome to you back here. But by goodness, it's time for us to just breathe out and sort of get our bearings once again, my friends. We've got to go to a break, but on the other side, of course, more standard coming your way. Thanks for sticking with us so far, and we look forward to your company as coverage of Pro Tour Ixalan continues live from Albuquerque, New Mexico. We'll see you on the other side of this, my friends. Stick around, plenty more magic coming your way.
Hello and welcome back to the News Desk. Maria Bartholdi here, and that is round 6 in the books here at Pro Tour Ixalan. It's time for another deck tech. Simon Gertzen is with Mark Tobias with what sounds like a pretty cool little deck, Teamer Riddleform.